Welcome back from the Land and Tenant Bill. There quite a heated debate there.
And of course, we do hope that whoever has been watching has really learned a lot from what the panelists there discussed in as far as Land and Tenant Bill is concerned.
My name is Patricia Lokoma, and in sign language we'll shortly be joined by Mugalu Mohammed.
And I am Edward Rukidi Kijanangoma.
First, the headlines.
In our news tonight, NSSF refutes claims the amendment bill intends to tax customers' benefits.
Appointment of Winnie Byanyima as UNAIDS Executive Director excites Ugandans.
Rebels shoot Syria war plan.
And in sports, Uganda's representatives at the 2019 Secondary Schools Association Games arrives in Arusha.
Hello there and welcome once again, and we are coming to you live on air from Broadcast House here on Nile Avenue. You can also follow us on Facebook. Our Facebook page is UBC TV, and also on Twitter, where our handle is at UBC TV. Now, 5 newly accredited envoys to Uganda have presented credentials to President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni in separate ceremonies at State House Entebbe. Now, Foreign Affairs Minister Honorable Sam Kutesa, State Minister for International Affairs Honorable Henry Okello Oriem, and other government officials witnessed the ceremonies, during which the French, Belgian, Ghanaian, Thailand and Sri Lankan ambassadors presented their credentials to President Museveni.
5 newly accredited envoys to Uganda have presented their credentials to President Yoweri Museveni in separate ceremonies held at State House in Entebbe. Foreign Affairs Minister Honorable Sam Kutesa, State Minister for International Affairs Henry Oriem Okello, and other government officials witnessed the ceremonies, during which the French, Belgium, Ghanaian, Thailand and Sri Lankan ambassadors presented their credentials to the President.
I have the honor to present to you the new ambassador of the Republic of France to Uganda.
President Museveni welcomed the new French ambassador, Jules Armand Anyambasu, and told him that Uganda and France have enjoyed good political relationships for a long time. He said that the collaboration between the two countries should be enhanced further to include economic, water transport, and other sectors. Ambassador Anyambasu assured the President that France wants to enhance collaborative development ties with Uganda in the priority areas of education, energy, and tourism industry.
Mr. President, it has been a great pleasure, with honor to
President Museveni, through the new Belgian envoy, Rudy V. Struyten, extended an invitation to Belgian shipbuilding companies to come to Uganda to venture into construction of water transport vessels to serve Uganda on water bodies. He informed the envoy that Uganda still lacks water transport system. The President also told the ambassador that the African continent commands a big market potential for Europe. He therefore challenged the Western world companies to take advantage of the relationship between Europe and Africa and participate in the development of the natural resources on the continent. Receiving letters of credence from the new Ghanaian High Commissioner, Ashiete Odunton, President Museveni saluted the leadership of Ghana's political father, Kwame Nkrumah, for leading a political national revolution that was inspirational with regard to economic growth. Ambassador Ashiete Odunton, who pledged commitment to work for strengthening of the relationship between Ghana and Uganda, thanked the President for his good heart for the African continent and support for his country's strategic development.
I have the honor to present to you the new ambassador of the Kingdom of Thailand to Uganda, His Excellency Atoko.
The President and the new Thai envoy, Chadkat Atoko, discussed issues pertaining to investments, trade, industry, tourism, among others. Mr. Museveni encouraged Thai enterprises to participate in Uganda's market development. Mr. Museveni commended Sri Lanka for achieving an impressive and extensive economic growth as he received credentials of that country's new High Commissioner, Wirawarden Sunil Dharmasena. Relatedly, President Yoweri Museveni has bid farewell to the Israeli and Burundi ambassadors to Uganda. The envoys called on him separately at State House in Entebbe to take leave of him following the conclusion of the tour of their duties in Uganda. The president wished them best of luck in their next assignments. The Israeli envoy, Noel Gal-Gendler, was accompanied by his spouse, Liron Gal-Gendler. The outgoing Burundi ambassador, Jean Bosco Barege, was accompanied by his wife, Cecile Ntakurutimana, and the security attaché, Emmanuel Manrakiza. Foreign Affairs Minister Hon. Sam Kutesa and his permanent secretary, Patrick Mugoya, attended the meetings. UBC TV, Harriet Nambi.
And of course, with the NSSF bill, today National Social Security Fund has refuted claims that the NSSF amendment bill intends to tax the benefits of customers. Now, this follows an outburst on the proposed amendments that were tabled in Parliament on Tuesday.
Or if you are a taxman, would you rather tax the seeds or would you rather tax the harvest, Mr. Lund?
I beg to move that the bill entitled the National Social Security...
The NSSF Amendment Bill 2019 that was tabled in Parliament for the first reading on Tuesday sparked controversy among different stakeholders. The controversy arose from the two clauses that government intends to tax retirement benefits and also start borrowing from NSSF. However, NSSF in defense says the bill was misunderstood. The managing director NSSF, Richard Byarugaba, says the bill is going to broaden the services as compared to the existing law. Byarugaba refuted claims of double taxation.
What we are now saying is allow the seeds not to be taxed, allow the harvest, annual harvest not to be taxed. But when we get to the very end, tax all the harvests that have been included, and therefore you as URA, you will get a bigger return, and you as a member will get a bigger return.
Litmus questions of expanding coverage, of reducing costs, of reducing risks, of improving benefits, and improving efficiency are all answered in the affirmative by this bill.
About the doubts of lending to government, NSSF says they have been lending to government through marketable sources like treasury bonds because the old law had no provision of lending. This is what the amendment seeks to incorporate to allow government to borrow.
The UBRA law actually says we cannot lend to anybody except through issuance of marketable security. Right? So there is a clear distinction of what we can lend. So the law of our regulator says we cannot lend unless there is a marketable security. So if government is to borrow from us, as they are currently doing, they have to issue a marketable security. And currently, we are lending to government through use of a marketable security. So there is no contradiction within the law. I think
this law is offering you to make a financial decision. Do I need to give you a rate? Because I thought, do I need to give you 30 million shillings now?
NSSF has also cleared doubts on government borrowing credibility. Byarugaba says the government is a trusted borrower and has always honored its obligation.
Although we are lending to government today, it must be put in the law. Because at the moment, it wasn't specifically put in that law.
The amendment is going to make it mandatory for anyone employing more than 4 people to register them on retirement benefits. A 10 million penalty also awaits employers who default the saving.
Remember, when they assess what is due now, the employee, you pay both the principal, the interest, and there is a penalty which is based on the amount owed. So which means that
Clause 7 of the bill seeks to give space for members to save beyond 5%, open space for those in the informal sector to do mandatory saving, while Clause 19 exempts taxation of employers' contribution of up to 30%. This is intended to improve efficiency, reduce taxation, and expand the coverage.
Individuals need to make the assessment. We've given you the numbers. People don't save if they are not forced. That's the truth. So do you want to continue to dodge URA and not save for the future, or do you want to pay URA and also save for the future?
But the whole question is denying someone their right to social security is a fundamental breach of human rights.
93% of Ugandans retire with less than 50 million in their accounts. 90% who retire have one retirement benefit source, and 50% of the people who receive their savings exhaust them in 1 year. Susan Naong and David Matovu for UBC News.
David, thank you so much for that report there. Now, the appointment of Winnie Byanyima as the new executive director for the joint United Nations program on HIV/AIDS has excited the health fraternity in Uganda. Now, Winnie Byanyima was appointed by the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres following a comprehensive selection process that involved a search committee constituted by members of the UNAIDS coordinating board.
Uganda has welcomed the appointment of Winnie Byanyima, the new executive director for the joint United Nations program on HIV/AIDS, UNAIDS. The Joint United Nations Program on HIV/AIDS is an advocate for accelerated, comprehensive and coordinated global action on the HIV/AIDS pandemic. Byanyima's appointment has excited the health fraternity in Uganda that described her as a committed personality to drive the current global agenda of ending HIV/AIDS by 2030.
We received the good news about Winnie Byanyima's appointment as the new executive director of UNAIDS, and we are delighted as UNAIDS to have her as our new executive director. She's a daughter of the soil. That one excites everybody to have actually a real Ugandan and a lady who has always been passionate about women empowerment. But not only women empowerment, we know that she's also a straightforward woman. She speaks the truth. She will fight for the truth and move to that direction that you really want to move to, as long as you're truthful and you're ready to do whatever you want to do in the right direction. So in that perspective, for us as UNAIDS Uganda country office, but also the whole of UNAIDS, we are delighted that this time the leadership of UNAIDS is coming up with a lady as the leader of UNAIDS. This is the first time. We've always had men leading UNAIDS, but now we have a lady.
Winnie Byanyima on her side expressed commitment and willingness to take over a new mantle, seeing an HIV-free generation by 2030. Uganda now has the challenge to up the game in the fight against HIV to become a point of reference.
I'm certain and confident that her coming to UNAIDS will lead UNAIDS to that right direction, and Uganda will basically benefit a lot from it, because this is her own motherland. This is her country. We really need to fast track. We really need to accelerate as a country, so that in the entire region we appear to be the best in terms of the ending the HIV/AIDS epidemic, but also in terms of fast-tracking our efforts to ensure that we do not discriminate or stigmatize against other people, but also work together as a community to ensure that we end AIDS in the region, but also globally within the entire world.
Byanyima will influence global policy on tackling HIV among the vulnerable groups like women.
We believe that with the leadership of Winnie and the other two ladies on top as the three top leaders of UNAIDS, when we do encourage more the engagement of men and engaging men in the entire HIV programming, we will be in position to reduce issues of gender-based violence, but also reduce the capacity at which women get infected due to HIV. And we'll also be in position to reduce the number of women that contract HIV on an annual basis.
Winnie Byanyima has been the executive director of Oxfam. She served for 7 years as director for gender and development at the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP. Story filed by Adia Nakuti, UBC News.
Very much there, Adia Nakuti. Now, moving on, government through the Ministry of Health is committed to deal with black flies influx in northern Uganda, which was recently reported. According to research presented in the suggested black flies file, it can be transmitted through the secondary pathogens that is to blame for the spreading of nodding disease.
However, Prime Minister Dr. Rakana Rugunda says government will support the Ministry of Health to address this malady. Now, this was during the Prime Minister's question time at Parliament.
Minister, 3 weeks ago, I reported to this House about the issue of black flies in Pade district. I also mentioned out that in 2012, the Ministry of Health said and came out clearly that the cause of nodding disease was the black flies. And I reported that black flies had invaded Pade district in large numbers. And we were scared that we would get new cases of nodding. Now, secondly, I want to report to this House that there are no new cases of nodding in Pade, because you took over 3 weeks without going on ground to find out why there were black flies or if there were black flies in the district. Now my question, what interventions do you have as government to see that there are no more new cases of nodding in Uganda? And our colleague has said there are cases of nodding also in eastern Uganda, as we were debating about malaria. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Hello, Prime Minister.
Right Honourable Speaker, the issue of nodding syndrome has been discussed many times here. Minister of Health and government continue to do a lot of work on this. It's true that we got a report of an upsurge of black flies. The information from the minister responsible for health is that efforts are being made to ensure that the flies are dealt with because they are associated with the causation of nodding syndrome. She is fully aware, and government and her ministry are going to confront the problem.
Prime Minister Rakana Rugunda, of course, clarifying about the black flies in northern Uganda.
In the agricultural sector, as we heard, forward farmers in West Nile are stranded with produce due to lack of market.
Now, that is in Nebi district. The farmers there are threatening to abandon tea growing after they are failing sell that the harvested precuts, and in Maracha, the youth have also failed to sell the seedlings. Our reporter Philip Aguta is in that region and brought us this report.
And unweeded tea plantation is a common sight of hilly slopes of Zombo district. The tea has failed to form a table for serious harvesting. Over 400 farmers seems to have abandoned the plantations due to lack of motivation caused by lack of market for harvested tea.
People many times when we go for sensitization, mobilization of farmers, they would ask us, you are telling us to grow tea. Where are we going to sell it? Where is the factory? Those are the questions that they have been asking us.
In order to make this one to be fulfilled and not to leave this one in bush, market is supposed to be provided here so that people can also get to know.
Government introduced tea project in Zombo in 2013 after the paramount king of Alur requested it as a means to kick out poverty in the district.
When the suppliers came on the ground to supply tea to farmers, tea was supplied in November. And you know, all over the country, November, when you reach November, we are heading towards dry season.
Actually, more skills, more skillful laborers are needed in order to help these people and guide them to control and to manage this thing very well.
As an effort to revive this process, around the time of NSSF 3, we were able to identify some few groups up to around 10, each with around 20 acres, which we thought once supported will give us up to 200 acres of tea, because then the challenge was maintaining the tea, since OWC was providing the seedlings but had no money for opening the gardens and maintaining the tea. These groups have been formed and they have been successfully facilitated. But all the same, the tea that they have planted has been properly maintained for 1 year, and as we move today in the fields, we realize that the tea is also getting back to the bush.
The Director, Manifesto Implementation Unit from Office of the President, proposes training for farmers to handle tea growing.
It looks like the community was not properly prepared and not properly mobilized to take up this adventure. If it did, then along the way, there was lack of follow-up to continue encouraging the farmers who had taken up the project.
A similar challenge of lack of market was also raised by farmers in Maracha under Youth Livelihood Program, and their seedlings are maturing on the nursery bed. They want Operation Wealth Creation to make them suppliers of the seedlings in the district.
Let them look for us a market. Even if they could give for us a supply to supply Maracha district, we can do. As I talk right now, we have more than 10,000 seedlings with us. Others are here, others are at home. If possible, if they can give supply to us to supply Maracha district, we can do that.
I urge my fellow colleagues, the CAO and the CDO, to make sure that these people are linked to the market, especially those who from OWC who are purchasing some of these seedlings.
The officials, however, say the districts are on the right track in the manifesto implementation with over 80% performance. Best performed sectors are education, health, livelihood project, and roads. For UBC TV News, I am Philip Aguta in Zombo.
Come from Zombo, the Equal Opportunity Commission has received 6 vehicles from European Union in support of gender and equity planning plus budgeting in the country.
Now, the new fleet will boost the Commission's processes in reaching out to government ministries and departments, as we hear in this report.
The European Union has handed over 6 vehicles to the Equal Opportunity Commission to promote equal opportunities for all. Minister for Gender, Labour and Social Development, Hajat Janat Mukwaya, urged the Commission to ensure vehicles are in a good condition.
You know, for me, when I thank the EU, yes, because they have the money. But if we didn't have the programs and the brains, the money would not have flown here. Mr. Secretary, the drivers you saw here are competent. They went to the driving school. They were tested. Those who have ever had an accident, they are fired. Those who have had engine no, fired. Yes, there is no negotiation. Because we want these vehicles to live 5 years down the road. And we are poor people. So we must manage and must be frugal.
The Sector Coordinator, Accountability, Minister of Finance and Economic Development, Anthony Chintumwanje, advised the Commission to ensure continuity of funding.
Anyone who has an activity to do in as far as EU funding is concerned, please
Don't sleep, because when you sleep, then we are not going to access the funding. And the bad thing is that if EU does not achieve, the entire chain of beneficiaries loses.
The chairperson, Equal Opportunity Committee of Parliament, Helen Asamo, appealed to the Commission to establish regional offices to address people's challenges at the grassroots level.
I think life would be better, now that we have a car, to have at least some small offices based in the regions and see that we have the human resource go down to the people. Because people are asking, you are talking of gender and equity, but where are these people?
The partnership between the EU and Uganda is a fulfillment of SDG 5, Target 5C, where UN member states adopt and strengthen policies and enforce legislation to promote gender equity. Mtonyi Hilda, UBC.
26 minutes after 10, we'll now take a short break, but we'll return with much more. Do stay with us.
Every dream has a challenging journey. Ours began in 1998 with a mission to drive the development of a robust communications sector in Uganda. We created structures to champion the dream. We've evolved, made discoveries, supported great minds, empowered Ugandans, and fostered a vibrant culture, enabling communication for all. Down the years, we've created memories and networks, uniting generations and building great partnerships. Together, we can go even further. UCC, celebrating 20 years of achievements.
Have you completed Senior 4 or Senior 6 and you want to do a 2-year certificate or a diploma course? Makerere Institute for Social Development, an affiliate to Makerere Business School, offers programs in accounting and finance, business administration, procurement and supplies management, social work and social administration, information technology, counseling and guidance, human resource, project planning and management, journalism, secretarial studies, and many others. We are located on Apollo Kegwa Road, next to Oilcom Petrol Station, with a UBTEP Center number.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pain Arena. Introducing on the right corner, Mr. Action, the reigning heavyweight champion in the ring against
the Headache, the #1 contender. And the bell rings.
Headache charges forward with a steady right and a left hook. Action dodges. He misses out with an inch. Wait a minute. Mr. Action launches back with a kick. The final blow. He is out.
If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
Nabubi yazimba kumutyo muwanvu
enkuba yatonya nabubi yakwa
Welcome back. It's 30 minutes past 10 o'clock and we do continue with our news. We start off with happenings in the Land Commission, where the program desk officer for Karamoja Affairs in the office of the Prime Minister, Peter Amodoi, has pleaded guilty of negligence and not doing due diligence during the sale of over 400 acres of land in Kautako Parish, Bokora County, that is in Karamoja region.
Now, Justice Catherine Bamugeme referred the sale of the contested land to Uganda Investment Authority as bad news to the authority because they do not have ownership, as we hear in this report.
A program officer for Karamoja Affairs in the office of the Prime Minister, Peter Amodoi, has been given a 2-week ultimatum to settle land differences between the Bokora community and the Madeniko.
Yes, my lord.
This follows the fraudulent sale of the Bokora land without consulting the elders.
Honestly, if this had come earlier before I had sold even this land, it would have been better. Because I would have not sold this land to Investment Authority.
And let me tell you, let me give you some bad news. That title can be dismantled, completely dismantled, and UIA has nothing. It's a government organ. It's not a private individual. It's a government organ. They ought to have done due diligence. So, my brother, bad news. There is no bona fide purchase of value here.
The Commission of Inquiry on Land Matters referred Amodoi as a speculative buyer who hoodwinked unsuspecting Karimojong.
You have questions to answer for those. The whole lot of uneducated people will have here a list of 1,013 people. You have to answer them. They're saying, this is our land. This is my father's land. This is my grandfather's land. This is my ancestors' land. A whole 1,013 people counting.
I feel the pain of my people.
I, Nancy Oriema.
In another development, the inquiry has had evidence from the granddaughter to former Inspector General of Police Henry Oneko Oliema. Nancy Oliema is contesting land with Major General Charles Sotema. The land is located at Pabet Tangin, Noya district, and Major General Charles Sotema acquired the over 600 acres illegally.
So the general is telling you that he bought the land from your auntie?
No, he said my auntie stayed in his hotel and couldn't pay her bills. So she decided to pay him by giving him our family land.
Yes, so that's what he said.
That's what he told us. So we were all shocked, of course, and we had nothing to say.
And your auntie was not there at that time?
No, it was just the general, my mother, my brothers and sisters, my little nieces and nephews, just my immediate family.
Recently, former Inspector General Henry Oneko Oliema was rewarded by President Museveni and his body reburied on the same land.
Didn't have any idea of what was going on. After the event, the president invited us for a small meeting, and he was surprised to see that there were so many family members, because all along they thought it was only Gertrude.
This meeting take place in that location?
On the land, yes. Yeah. Yes, after the ceremony.
Okay.
The reburial also take place on this land?
Yes, on the very same land.
Where was it next to the house, or in relation to where the farmhouse was?
So the reburial took place in front. He was reburied in front of the main house. And the meeting also took place right in front of what is left, the foundation.
However, court ruled in favor of the plaintiff, and the office of the Administrator General was asked to handle the matter.
So basically, he now authorized the Administrator General to administer the estate again. Have you tried to contact the Administrator General?
It wasn't really clear. We didn't know what was happening, and so when we took charge to try and follow up, we haven't really had a clear answer. But
currently, General Tema is farming on part of the land, and it is alleged that he has parceled out some to relatives, maybe with or without sale agreements.
So we decided to put a post and try and get security so we can know who is on the land. So we put up a post with a signpost that says this land belongs to the family of Erinaya Oriema, and so on and so forth. And then we built this security house. We painted it, The next day, we found that they poured petrol. It was burnt down and destroyed. That signpost was removed.
Right.
And upon investigation and asking people, the locals, we were told that it was removed by a man called Andrew Omito, who is a brother to Otema.
Sudat Kai, UBC News.
Getting tougher.
Oh
and
yes,
more
and land
interesting.
issues like they are going to be there every other time.
And butter trade is getting involved now.
Let's move on with our news. And General Duties Minister of Health, Sarah Opendi, has owned the mess at Kawempe Referral Hospital after numerous babies were forced to share a bed while others were on plastic chairs.
Minister Opendi blamed this on the overwhelming number of mothers who have abandoned other health centers to the extent of doing self-referrals, thereby congesting the hospital.
Images of newborn babies dumped on one bed while others are placed on plastic chairs in Kawempe National Referral Hospital have been common on social media. This earned the Ministry of Health and the hospital abuse, with most people faulting government for failing to care for the newborn babies. State Minister for General Duties, Acheng Sarah Opendi, apologized, describing the status unacceptable.
Our teams from the Quality Assurance Department, and they actually went to the hospital and said, yes, there was that challenge. However, they have sorted it out, found other floors, where to have these children.
The minister blames the occurrence on the indiscipline of mothers who reject services offered at lower health centers, which crowds the only referral hospital handling antenatal cases.
Telling the mothers, you have a health center 3, please access the service there. And it's only when you have a complication that you go to the next level. But mothers are moving without referrals from health center 4s, for instance, coming straight to, that is a referral hospital. Kawempe is a referral hospital. But they have just been receiving every mother that has come. Let us appreciate our doctors, really.
Minister Opendi promises that there are plans to have Kiswa Health Center 3 elevated to Health Center 4.
We will have to sit and think through this because, as I said, Kirudu does not handle deliveries. Naguru is being specialized into an orthopedic facility. It is Kawempe that is supposed to be handling deliveries amongst the referral hospitals that we have within Kampala.
Meanwhile, Minister Acheng has welcomed requests by civil society organizations to re-centralize recruitment of district health officers and other top health officials.
Actually, we are looking at certain categories because once somebody has become a medical superintendent also in a district hospital, a general hospital, they are almost stagnant there. So we are trying to have this conversation of a certain category of health workers because that will help us really in dealing with the current problems that we are seeing amongst the DHOs. As I said, some have businesses there and they are not as effective as it should be.
By next week, the ministry will table the National Health Insurance Scheme Bill before Parliament.
By close of year, if all is well, we should have this health insurance bill passed, approved and forwarded to the President so that he can assent to it.
This comes at a time when some members of the Health Committee of Parliament are threatening to bring a private member's bill, accusing government of delay. Dokas Kimono and Daniel Mogoya, UBC TV News.
Now, administrators of Uganda Spiritual Formation Center have converged to discuss and approve the new curriculum for entrance of the 2019-2020 intake.
Now, the program coordinator for the formation desk at Uganda Spiritual Formation Center in Namugongo, Sister Mary Pauline Namudu, says scrutinizing content for a syllabus fulfills spiritual and physical requirements of participants.
For every religious person dedicated to the work of God, reorientation helps to meet the requirements of the laity. In the Catholic Church, sabbaticals, retreats, and seclusion give an individual time to reflect and replenish. One center that does such in Uganda is the Uganda Spiritual Formation Center. This time, the administrators met to discuss the syllabus for the 2019-2020 intake.
The courses that are taken
we have already been looking at them and say, where do we need to add, or what do we need to emphasize more in order to benefit these people who are going to train other men and women religious. We get them to go through a special program which first deepens their own faith through catechesis, through scripture, and we have ethics, human development. Also we go through theology.
The participants who may require renewal apply or are recommended to the center by their bishops or superiors. Father Joseph Cheyune is the chairperson of the Association of Religious in Uganda, ARU. Uganda Spiritual Formation Center Namugongo is a child of ARU.
You know, after working for so many years, one may feel burnt out. One may feel you have lost out on so many frontiers and you need a refill. So people come here and they get renewed in so many angles, be it spirituality.
The participants are mainly the consecrated. In June this year, 33 participants graduated in personal renewal and integration after 9 months of training. They were from Kenya, Tanzania, South Sudan, Cameroon, India and Uganda.
Where are our treasures and where are our hearts now as Christians, as priests and as religious? Are we aware that we are writing our stories of life to be read by the future generation?
Sister Clara Giovannis from India.
Receive these certificates as a sign of preparation and readiness for evangelization. Your respective institutes, dioceses and the whole church have supported you throughout your formation program. I exhort you to respond to the expectations of your brothers and sisters by living out what you have received and by sharing your new life in your communities and in your apostolates.
This is what is required of every person taking up the work of winning souls to God. Abiona Francisco, UBC News.
Thanks, Abiona, for that report there. Meanwhile, the Special Council sitting for Nakawa Urban Division has ended in a fight as a member of the council accused the mayor, Ronald Balimwezo, of disrespect and treating the council as his own entity.
Now, this follows a delay on approval of the District Land Area Committee by the council, as we hear in this report.
After hours of waiting by councillors, the special council meeting summoned by the Nakawa mayor Ronald Balimwezo later began at 3:30 p.m. Upon the mayor taking seat, other councillors remained standing, objecting the order paper.
And there are thieves. Sit down.
Procedure, Your Worship. It seemed this was a planned strategy as councillors tasked the mayor to explain why he disrespects their opinions. When he replied, the response seemed to have angered the councillors as the fight ensued.
Isn't that your voice, Your Worship? That is speculation. We are here for government business. Let us be mature enough. We are here for government business. I will not sit and whatever you don't do like that. Who are you? Who are you?
This council was summoned by the mayor Ronald Balimwezo to deliberate issues ranging from the approval of the district area committee, which has flopped for the third time.
They don't mean anything. Now the councillors have asked him if we are calling people thieves, and the councillors want them to cancel, to pass the names. How can you call councillors all those sorts of names, and you want to work with them to pass the names?
In attendance were the division councillors Anderson Bulora Robert, the deputy resident city commissioner Nakawa, the mayor of Kawempe, Robert Emmanuel Serunjoji, among others.
Anything to do with policy, it has to be initiated and submitted by the mayor. So when we come to names of some standing committees or area land committees and the rest, it is the head to submit.
This matter, however, the conduct wasn't necessary, and I think we shouldn't allow such things to happen, but that to become the mode of deliberation of matters. So we rebuke, we don't agree with it, we rebuke it, but then we need to find a way of how we harmonize such issues.
Bali Mwezo, however, vowed not to let down his tools for what he termed as land grabbing and intrigue from different politicians within the area.
The step is to make sure that I write a report to council and to the minister on that effect. Yes, I'm going to write to council and to the minister, trying to give a report on what transpired in council.
So what awaits is the pending approval of names of the district land board for Nakawa division, as many councillors accuse the mayor of hijacking the process.
Thing to talk about.
Oh yes, but I think that's gross indiscipline. And what example are they actually giving to aspiring leaders who are the youth and the future of this country?
On a sad note, yeah. Now, the increasing cases of land wrangles in Kichusa sub-county Luero district have affected the operation wealth creation.
Now, this was discussed during a meeting of Kichusa sub-county chairpersons and the presidential advisor on political affairs, Moses Biarhanga.
Local leaders in Chichusa sub-county in Luero district have cited land wrangles as a hindrance to the Operation Wealth Creation program. The 41 chairpersons of Local Council 1 in Chichusa sub-county under their umbrella Local Leaders Association explain that despite community involvement in government programs, land evictions are still a challenge.
Tusasula mabanja manji nyenaffe tubenga bibanja bituliko tutuddenga balandi road enkayana zino ezokugaba kugobye ku ekazeze mazo kuteekateeka obulungi oli wajja okugabana naawe tavalyuwinga mwanyiyo ne banyimiriza bennyini nti tuzze okwerula ettaka lyaffe konze zifuuka ddi eryammwe lwali lutalo lw'amaanyi nnyo olw'okuba nti obwongo bwange bwaŋŋamba nti singa oba tozizza musango omunene si kyangu wa poliisi ono kukuba
bantu 11 executive buli section nga yeekozeemu ebibiina 11 bye tugenda okubeera nabyo nga byonna tunoonya kulabika nti tulina ebyenkulaakulana.
This was during the meeting at Senyomo B organized by the chairman of the chairpersons of Chichusa and chairman LC1 Senyomo B, Zephania Chizaseninde, attended by the presidential advisor on political affairs, Moses Biarhanga. On land evictions, Biarhanga said government will allocate money to the land fund to enable pay landlords.
Evicted by police. Now this is bringing a lot of tension within the tenants, especially in the Uganda area, where this issue is very rampant. So as per their request, I will discuss with the President the possibility of increasing the land fund so that we are able to buy out the landlords by helping the tenants buy themselves.
While at Senyomo B in Chichusa, Biarhanga promised to give 2 goats to all the 41 villages in Chichusa, while 180 households in Senyomo B will also get 2 goats each under the Operation Wealth Creation.
The 2019 Chambogo Run promises to be bigger and better, with hopes of soliciting funds to cater for premature babies.
Now, the run to cover 5, 10 and 21 kilometers that starts at the end and at Chambogo University ground has been launched, with Prince David Wasaja confirming to be part of the cause.
The source for funds to curb health issues continues to blossom in Uganda. And if anyone thought Ugandans are done with that, then how wrong they are, because another, the Chambogo Run, is scheduled for 1st September to cater for premature babies.
When this opportunity came to support the Chambogo Run, especially which translates to supporting the premature babies and then buying incubators for some of the hospitals that will come from the Chambogo Run and some of our sponsorship, we quickly jumped on it because it aligns, with the Mandela Group of Companies' goals.
It's organized by Beyond Sports Organization in collaboration with Cafe Javas, and will have Prince David Wasaja as the chief runner.
Running is more enjoyable when you're running for a good cause. So I'm very happy to be part of
this initiative, and we're also very appreciative for Cafe Javas.
Statistics show that over 200,000 babies are born premature in Uganda, with this condition responsible for about 31% of all neonatal deaths, while those that survive are usually prone to disability. John Barnes, Sentam, reporting.
A little bit into the health sector, the public is urged to participate in the cancer run organized by Rotary Club of Mengo Hospital in order to raise money for buying hospital and laboratory machines.
Now, the handover of the ambulance to the Rotary Club of Mengo Hospital, the medical director of Mengo Hospital, Dr. Rose Mutumba, said people's support to this activity will save lives.
In the health sector, they have organized these Rotary Cancer Runs now for 8 years. The cancer run we're having this year is the 8th cancer run, and we really want to appreciate their efforts. And of course, I cannot fail to mention the Rotary Blood Bank that sits at Mengo Hospital. We thank Rotary for all their efforts in seeing that the healthcare of Ugandans is improved. So as Mengo Hospital, we are fully participating in this cancer run. We are donating, of course, some proceeds to the cancer run, and our staff are going to be fully participating as well. Our ambulance and medical team is also going to be present during the cancer run, and this has been happening every year. Our medical teams and ambulances have been present there. Also, as a run-up to the cancer run, we're going to have cervical cancer screening. We all know that cervical cancer is a big problem as one of the cancers in Uganda that we are facing. So we're going to have, on the 22nd of August, we have organized a screening of cervical cancer.
We're trying to take it to another level to construct bunkers in that cancer center, which are currently has 36 beds and is even able to treat people in other aspects of cancer treatment as surgery, palliative care.
Dentist from Kasese, Baluku Hassan, says poor hygiene has caused many people suffer tooth problem.
Now, it follows a health camp where over 100 people in Kasese town were diagnosed with tooth decay.
While offering this charitable service at Nadiu Preparatory School, a dentist Hassan Baluku advised the community to observe proper oral hygiene so as to remain healthy.
I advise people to always engage themselves in such free projects, since most people are unable to afford the services privately.
He says overwhelming numbers of persons with dental decay is also caused by poor feed.
People do not feed well and do not know how to brush thoroughly. They think they only need to brush when they eat, which is not true.
The beneficiaries claim that expensive services hinder them from seeking the dental health attention. The director, Nadiu Preparatory School, Twaha Hassan Wambale, applauded the dentist for the corporate social responsibility.
I thank the dentist for his charity work, and I advise other schools to adopt such projects.
The public is reminded to avoid foods containing acids, snacks, and sugary drinks, and always brush up on a daily basis. Mariam Talemwa, UBC News.
Take a very short break, but Patricia will be coming back to give you all that's happening in the world of business, international news and sports.
Ekyama kya Busoga kikino nga ni Kagulu Rock nkola olusozi olw'Ekagulu mu igombolola ly'Ekagulu mu disitulikiti ey'Ebuyende. Ida tuninira olusozi olw'Ekagulu ni Pulezidenti wa Uganda Yoweri Kaguta Museveni ng'akyaziibwa Isaife ky'abazinga wa Busoga William Wilberforce Kadumbula Gabula Nalyopo owookuna ne Sipiika wa Paalamenti Maama Rebecca Itwala Kadaga. Era ng'empiya bukalina obuteereyi bwawo obw'okuwangulibwa abonabonabona nga banina olusozi luno baalutuuka ku ntwiko. Oyita kuba ng'osobola okubona Busoga okuva yava okutuuka yakanga olengera ebibira olengera ensozi edindi agayanda n'omwiga kiiro ogusinga obuwanvu munsi yonayona. Kagulu nkola olusozi lwa byafaayo ng'Omusoga eyasooka yava e Bunolo wano niwe yatuukira. Oyita abona empukumu yasulanga niwe yalibiranga enimiro de nga bino byonna bya bwereere. Abantu okuva ebule n'ebweya bali kwekonda okuyida okubaawo okunina olusozi luno weenaba omu ku abo.
Bino byonna byakubaawo olwa Mukaga ngenda ku omwezi 17 omwezi ogw'omunaana omwaka 2019.
Empakedde okunina olusozi Kagulu dikutuusibwaku Minisitule y'ebyobulambuzi n'ebyeyira mu bwakyabazinga bwa Busoga kyateebwamu empiya.
Pulezidenti w'eggwanga Uganda Tourism Board, Uganda Wildlife Authority, Sanctuary Hotels Kamuli, UBC TV, Madvan Group of Companies, Big Fair, awalala
Hillwater, purity, nothing less.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pain Arena. Introducing on the right corner, Mr. Action, the reigning heavyweight champion in the ring against
the Headache, the #1 contender. And the bell rings.
Headache charges forward with a steady right and a left hook. Action dodges. He misses out with an inch. Wait a minute. Mr. Action launches back with a kick. The final blow. He is out.
If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
Forget the long line hassle. With OneXBet, the power of placing that perfect bet is at your fingertips. Bet anytime from anywhere. Best of all, payment is instant. Place your bet on whatever you choose. Virtual games, bet games, sports, and even live betting. Winning has never been this simple. Bet with OneXBet.
Advanced gaming is regulated by the Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board. Betting is addictive and can be psychologically harmful, and it's only eligible to persons above 18 years of age.
Welcome back. It's time to mean business, and as we start off with artisan miners, it looks like artisan miners in Buyikwe Parish in Namayingo district are calling for a government aid in their gold mining activities. The youth and widows who are active in this venture are worried of losing their major economic activity. However, State Minister for Minerals Peter Lokris allays such fears based on an impending review of the mining law.
On the shores of Lake Victoria in Namayingo district is the sound of stone quarrying. The deep caves and tunnels beneath this hill reveal the source of this sound. Pondering on who could be behind the economic activity, a climb over the hill provides the answer. Youthful men and widowed women are busy crushing stones in search of gold and other valuable minerals. It's an artisan gold mining site providing a venture that is said to have started many years ago by one Okumu. Phil Padome is an operator of the crushing machine.
Machine eno etuyamba nnyo yokufuna sente. Batubeerawo omukazi aleetako ebintu byawo nafunako sente nasomesa abaana.
For those ladies who don't have their husbands, who lost their husband, the widows, when they bring their stones here, we can say that actually this one she cannot afford money to do what? To grind her stones. We just grind them freely.
Besides employing widows, they also started an initiative to solicit money from the site to help orphans.
Ugamba naffe tufuna sente okuyamba abantu bakitundu wano kuliko afiiridwa baawe gonde ono ba namugonde tekuli baawe.
So we just get money, we give them to go back to school. We cannot leave them.
Residents, however, still have some fears.
Government, what should do to us? I think we are seeing we are bankrupt.
Nafe twagala tubeereko ng'abantu. Twagala obaka mugendere nafe tufuneko akantu.
Artisanal gold mining is one of the emerging informal economic activities, providing alternative livelihood to thousands of people in the world. Close to 20